Hi guys, Mr. Holster here. Thanks for tuning into my channel. As maybe some of you know, at least maybe my 15 subscribers know, I was proud to get up to 15. In the last few months I've had a few little health issues and was unable to walk for 10 weeks, which was not fun, but it was a good experience. Fortunately, the surgery was a success, and I've basically been spending the last 12 weeks getting my atrophied muscles back to where they were and being able to do stuff again now. I can feed the animals, take care of the horses, whatever, and that's awful nice to do that. But it was a good experience for me because I spent 3 years taking care of my father before he passed, and he was unable to walk, was confined to bed in a wheelchair, and I took care of him 24/7 until he passed. And the night he died was the only time in that 3 years he actually got out of the wheelchair, stood up, and laid down in bed by himself. And he passed that night. And in that time period, I thought that was the hardest time in my life that I'd ever have, is taking care of him, and just had no idea how hard it was for him to lie in that bed. Because if you've done a lot of things, or you do a lot of things, you're not very active, which he was. He was a big golfer and a fisherman, and worked right up until he was confined to that bed. That just killed him, not being able to work. He loved working. The day he couldn't work, was confined to that bed, you might as well have let him go. Because I'm sure that was just the worst 3 years of his life beyond belief. Because it was tough to sit in that bed for 10 weeks and not be able to go out and take care of the horses and take care of the cattle and do the things I always do. I couldn't even get up and go to the bathroom. I literally could not get out of the bed. So I could not walk. I could not stand. So I am very grateful that not only that I can now stand and do the things I used to do, but I'm grateful I had the experience, because I am grateful I got to see it through my dad's eyes those 3 years and see what it was like for him. But I thought I'd do a quick video here on one of the fine old firearms I have, probably one of the most produced firearms in the world, Smith and Wesson M&P Model 10, 38 Special. This particular gun has fixed sights. This one has a 4-inch barrel. It can be shot single action. You can cock the hammer, then pull the trigger and discharge cartridge, or you can just pull the trigger and run it through the whole cycle double action. This gun here, I've put stag grips on because I think stag grips look beautiful on a deeply blued gun. And those old Smith and Wessons from the 70s, there's nothing prettier than the bluing on those Smith and Wessons from the 70s. This one here has a pinned barrel, and I'm not too sure on when they stopped doing that. I think it was around the beginning of the 80s they quit pinning the barrels, or maybe the mid-80s, I'm not sure. But they used to, when they installed the barrels, would install a pin here to hold the barrel in place. And they quit doing that at some point. And that, in the collector circle, I'm sure that the pin barrels bring more than the ones after it and all that. I'm not a true collector of firearms. I never had that kind of money. But this one here is a great gun to have around, and you can still find them quite reasonably. I saw one in a gun shop the other day. It was $549, and it was a very clean gun. I doubt that it had more than a few hundred rounds put through it. Barely even had a turn ring on the cylinder. So that is quite reasonable. If you go to the Smith & Wesson website, they still make this gun, and I think they've got it listed on there for $8.99 manufacturer suggested retail price. This gun here, unlike most of the ones made nowadays, although I'm not commenting on how Smith & Wesson's making them nowadays, but just guns in general do not use a lot of steel like this is. This is an all-steel gun. This is a hefty little gun. And it's a great gun to have around, because if you own guns, sooner or later someone's going to want you to instruct them on how to use a gun. They're going to say, I've never shot a handgun before. Can you teach me how? And this is a great gun to have around because it's 38 special and it's a heavy gun, so it has very little recoil. You can shoot a 158 grain 38 special load out of this, coming out at 800 feet per second out of the end of the muzzle, and they can shoot it. A new shooter can shoot it and have great success with it. This particular one with the fixed sights are dead on. It's a very nice gun. It also makes a good house gun to have around if you've got wife and kids. This is one you can teach them to shoot effectively. And at 800 feet per second coming out of there, 158 grain bullet, that's a heavy bullet. Now the heaviest 9mm bullet you're going to get is 147 grain. So 158 grain is a good heavy bullet, but yet it's coming out at 800 feet per second, so that it gives you a little more leniency on over penetration if you're going to have it discharged inside a house. So makes a good house gun. I thought I'd share this gun with you. It was probably one of the most issued police firearms in history. You know, the Glock will probably surpass it if it hasn't already, but at one point this was the standard. There probably was not a police department in the United States that did not issue this firearm at one point or another. It's been issued by police departments all over the world. Militaries all over the world have issued this firearm. This is probably one of the most produced firearm for Smith and Wesson, if not the most they've ever produced. It would not surprise me to learn they've produced over 1 million of these. I don't know what the numbers are, but very nice gun. So I encourage you to look into it if you want a nice 38, to go out and find yourself an old M&P 10. It's a great old gun. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not a subscriber, I'd like you to subscribe if you'd like to. I'd like you to like my page if you like it. If you don't like it, then don't like it. Click that on too. That's fine. I don't know what else I can say. I'm just happy to be up walking around, and I hope I can get out there and make a bunch of videos this summer if the weather ever gets good. We had a winter of snow, and now we've got spring of nothing but rain. So I'm cooped up in here making this video. Next time you see me, I hope it's outside. So thanks for tuning in, and have a good day.